What is going on, everyone? This is Sarah coming at you from just outside of Hartford, Connecticut. And today, we're going back to February of 2013 as we discuss the Alex Smith trade. Now, a little bit of background. This trade was between the Kansas City Chiefs and San Francisco 49ers. So at this point, the 49ers had essentially two franchise quarterbacks on their team, and they decided we don't need Alex Smith anymore. So they decided to deal Alex Smith, and at this point, Andy Reid had recently been hired as the head coach of the Kansas City Chiefs, and as you probably have heard, he's a quarterback whisperer. So they say he's very good, he knows the quarterbacks he likes, so he made sure that he can get a quarterback that he'd like. And Alex Smith, of course, a first overall pick a few years back at this point in time, was a guy who Andy Reid liked. And San Francisco said, yeah, we'll do it as long as you give us your second round pick in 2013 and your second round pick next year. So Kansas City agreed, and essentially that gave the Kansas City Chiefs quarterback Alex Smith in exchange for the 34th overall selection in 2013 and the 56th overall selection in 2014. So we'll start off with the Kansas City Chiefs, as they are the team that got Alex Smith. So Alex Smith was inserted as a starting quarterback right off the bat, and he had a solid first season. Then he had a solid again in 2014 season, before improving slightly in 2015, regressing slightly back to his 2013-14 status in the 2016 season, and then he never really dazzled. That was the problem with Alex Smith. He never dazzled. He showed he was good, he had a high football IQ, but he never proved that he was the guy, for lack of a better word. So he has another good year in 2017, but in 2017, the Chiefs decided to pick Patrick Mahomes in the first round. They wanted to go big or go home. And that essentially spelled the end of Alex Smith. So Smith ends up making 3 Pro Bowls in Kansas City before he is traded. And he's traded to the Washington football team in exchange for cornerback Kendall Fuller and a 2018 third-round pick. So Kendall Fuller, he was a solid cornerback, 1 for 2 years. And he makes a crucial interception in the Super Bowl 54 victory against the San Francisco 49ers. And that third-round pick in 2018 becomes the 78th overall pick. This pick ends up getting bundled with the 54th pick, both of them sent to the Cincinnati Bengals in exchange for picks 46 and 100. So the 46th pick would go to the Chiefs, obviously, and they would select defensive end Breeland Speaks. And Breeland Speaks had a quiet rookie year and spent the 2019 season on the injured reserve before being waived, while linebacker Dorian O'Daniel, who was the 100th pick in that draft, ends up being a good backup. Now, at this point, he's still just a good backup. He hasn't really excelled. He hasn't become a starter, but he's still on the team, so he already beat Breeland Speaks. So believe it or not, that actually ends the Kansas City Chiefs' involvement in this trade. So now we're going to talk about the 49ers, and as you can tell, the 49ers were active. So we'll start with the 2013 draft. So they got the 34th overall pick from the Kansas City Chiefs. Now they would trade this pick to the Tennessee Titans for 3 picks. The 40th pick, the 216th pick, both in 2013, and a third-round pick in 2014. So again, we're going to start with the 2013 draft. This breakdown is a little bit like the older ones I used to do just because of all the moving parts from different draft classes. So the 49ers, with the 40th pick, remember, acquired from Tennessee, would select defensive end Tank Carradine. And Tank Carradine missed the first half of his rookie season with recovering from an ACL tear that he had suffered in college. And he was a decent rotational piece for 4 seasons in San Francisco before he would walk. He only had 5.5 sacks in his career, but that's okay, I suppose. The 216th selection ends up getting traded to the Green Bay Packers, along with the 93rd overall pick, for the 88th pick. And the 88th pick would become linebacker Corey Lemonier. So Lemonier, he ends up being an okay backup for 3 years before leaving. Nothing great. Now, Tennessee, remember, traded 3 picks for 34, ends up selecting wide receiver Justin Hunter. And Justin Hunter, unfortunately for Tennessee, never established himself over 3 disappointing seasons in Tennessee before being cut. So Green Bay gets 93 and 216. The 93rd pick was discussed. It was traded away, and this was discussed in the Trent Richardson video, one of the first trade breakdown videos we did. They end up trading down, and they end up getting David Baccaretti, so they do pretty good for themselves. But the 216th pick would become wide receiver Charles Johnson, who was released before ever playing a game in Green Bay. He's known for his domination in the American Alliance of American Football, but other than that, he never really established himself in the NFL. So now we go to the 2014 draft. So at this point, San Francisco has Tennessee's 3rd round pick, which would become the 77th pick, and Kansas City's 2nd round pick, which becomes the 52nd pick, as well as we'll get to that one in a second actually. So the 2014 2nd round pick from Kansas City, 56th overall, gets traded to Denver along with the 242nd pick in exchange for the 63rd, 171st, and a 2015 4th round pick. So let's go to the 2014 draft here. So San Francisco ends up with their 63rd pick. They end up trading it along with pick 171 to the Miami Dolphins for pick 57. And with the 57th pick, the 49ers would select running back Carlos Hyde. And he had a strong rookie year as a backup before breaking out big time in 2015 as a starter and improved even more so in 2016. Now, he has a strong 2017 season as well, but then he walks, leaving the team. So, not a horrible pickup. With the 77th pick, remember, acquired from Tennessee, they would select linebacker Chris Borland. And Borland actually had a massive, great talented, first year in the league. He showed a lot of potential, but he shocked the NFL community when he decided to retire after only the 1 year. It really sent shockwaves through the league, and he really looked like he was going to be a starter for years to come. So, yeah, Chris Borland, that was an interesting one. So now we're going to talk about the Broncos here. The Broncos got the 56th and 242nd pick, remember. So the 56th pick they would use on wide receiver Cody Lattimore. And Lattimore had 4 disappointing seasons in Denver before leaving. He later said something along the lines of, having a quarterback like Peyton Manning when you're a rookie is terrifying. It really just showed that he wasn't an NFL caliber player. And the 242nd pick would be used on linebacker Corey Nelson, who was a key special teamer for 4 years. And he also started a couple games here or there, but then he would end up leaving after his rookie contract was up. So, not great. Lastly, from 2014, we have the Miami Dolphins, who, remember, got 63 and 171. 63rd pick would be wide receiver Jarvis Landry, who was a great kick returner as a rookie and broke out massively over the next 3 years, proving to be a stud slot receiver before being traded. And his trade will be its own separate video. I just want to point that one out. That'll be coming out soon, hopefully. He made the Pro Bowl 3 times for Miami. The 171st pick would be cornerback Jordan Tripp, who was a special teamer for only a single season before being cut. Now, the last one we got to talk about is the 2015 draft, which, if you remember, Denver traded their 4th round pick to the San Francisco 49ers, and that pick would become 126, with which the 49ers would select running back Mike Davis, who pretty much was buried on the depth chart for 2 years before leaving the team. All in all, that was the entirety of the Alex Smith trade, which occurred again on February 27th, 2013. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Have a great rest of your day.